What's up, assholes? Welcome back to the Call to Action podcast. I'm James.
I'm Mac.
And I'm Dylan.
Woo!
Yep. And this week, because we are lazy fucks, you get a special double episode. After this one goes up, immediately after, you can go and watch the next episode concerning the Chicago Live event. But for now, let's get caught up on lost time, shall we? Let's talk about JTE versus a gimme match against John Harris, shall we?
Oh my gosh, we are so fucking lazy. It's so stupid. Yes, it's kind of bonkers. I say JTE versus Harris. Did you guys have any general expectations rolling into this match? Like when we got that little clip, Emma breaking in, being like, "Hey guys, you guys gotta chill. What's going on?" JT was like talking shit right off the gate, coming out with his chipped ass tooth. Jesus, that tooth is killing me. Please, can we start a GoFundMe page for his tooth to fix his teeth? Let's make that happen.
Okay, no. Real talk. He was, I think April actually started a GoFundMe or whatever page for him. And
okay, well, I need to
he made sure he requested less than he needed because he felt bad for people paying for him. So he's not going to get any help people paying for his tooth.
Aww.
He wants to do that. He looks like I think he said he looks like a shark now or something. Yeah. So he's enjoying like the intimidation factor.
Yeah, I guess once a patriot, always a patriot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but he's going up against John Harris, and they went up to the semifinals during the Anarchy tournament last year. So
no, they went to the finals. They just got KO'd.
Oh yeah,
correct. Finals.
Yeah.
And so I want to say this is like a gimme match for JTE, but we can't say that now, can we? Because he lost Josh McCouga, and the only 6-point upset ever in the history of the Showdown against Cody Miller, a goddamn Olympian athlete who has never competed in movie trivia before or since. So what can you expect?
I don't think Cody Miller's ever going to peak as hard as he did, and I don't think Jonathan Harris is going to peak as hard as he did in this match. So going in to Alex's question earlier, we're asking about expectations. I was a little on the fence because we hadn't seen Jonathan do anything in teams or anything in singles rather. And in teams, the last two matches were pretty rocky. Like we had them against Critically Acclaimed and they got floored. And Jonathan didn't look strong there. And then against Who's the Boss, Who's the Boss floored them as well. Now, granted, it could have just been bad matches, and I think that showed a lot into that singles match because Jonathan brought it to the wire. Like, damn.
But also, to be fair, his round 2 was one of the easiest categories in the league. Again, personally speaking, I got a perfect 8 points, so I can't very much account for how easy this was in general. But Pixar movies are fucking...
Wasn't it comedy? What?
Pixar.
Oh, Pixar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pixar, they can make some deep cuts there. I'm not going to lie. He did have some of the easier ones. I was a little surprised he didn't get... at least a few of them. I remember when I got a 6 out of the 8, I want to say. But yeah, honestly, I was expecting exactly what we got from Harris. He's obviously a naturally very talented player and everything, but he needs to get his shit together if he wanted to actually perform well by himself, because he was relying on his brother quite a little bit. But I think he's a fine player, but I feel a lot of relief knowing that he's moving into a managerial role.
I think with that transition, he does become one of the stronger managers in the league now too. Like, if we're looking in comparison, we have like any of the manageable stuff coming up. If he sticks this landing, like that's he's going to run away if they have another manageable at the Collision. But I think one thing I definitely want to go into looking at is not only just John's performance in the match, but John's humor in the match, because I need to take a moment to say how many times I fucking died laughing at this whole him and JTE both actually.
Yeah, not gonna lie, it was a really fun match. They were bouncing off each other really, really well. They were obviously having a hoot, but at the end of the day, JT, you just reminded all of us that sure, we don't know if he's gonna be a new champion considering all the new change with the new awesome new players, but at the same time, there was that little glimmer there that was like, oh yeah, him and Snyder as part of the Patriots, they were defending champions for I don't even know how many matches. They had like what, 7?
They were 9-0.
Yeah, they were 9-0. They were 9-0 before losing.
That's like ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
It's bonkers. So there was like little glimmers here and there where I'm like, oh yeah, former champion.
Yeah, I think JTE really brought that half of that GOAT status from like the Patriots level, and I'm actually really stoked about this too because we've seen a lot of comebacks from like really great players, and we've seen the league level up so far, which is going to be a big talking point on a lot of our matches, I feel like. But seeing JTE come back and then to crush it in the free for all and then
100%.
crush it in this match, I really wanted to see that because I think we've seen a lot of old players come back like Merle, and he gets floored by the greatest player in the whole league with Guy.
Yeah.
But seeing JTE come back with such strength, I think that was very exciting. Plus, the shit talk level was through the roof. This was just a stellar match. Like, this was awesome.
It was a really fun match. It's I feel like it's a good match that you would introduce, that you would if you want to get friends or family or anything into the match, this is like one of the matches you would show if you like, versus like showing a match of like team action versus top 10 or top 10 versus the Patriots. Thing is, you kind of have to know a little bit of story behind it. This one you can, but it doesn't affect your mentality going into the match.
Right. You know, I would agree. I think that they do
still have a good time.
They do just enough explaining because it's not a very deep storyline. It's just I want my teammate back, and then they play it out. Like, it just goes right on into it. Which, by the way, this is a better love story than Twilight. I'm gonna go ahead and get that out there right now.
You know what? You shut your whore mouth, okay? I love that when I was in high school.
Is Alex defending Twilight now? I think he's the loser host.
Yeah. All right, guys. Welcome to the Call to Action Arms podcast. I'm your host, Dylan, and Alex has been removed from the podcast.
No more women on board.
Okay?
Finally, we have achieved what many of our commenters have been
film genre, okay? Whatever.
We've got a woman host again for the first time in a while, and we have since destroyed the woman host from the show. Welcome to the all-male podcast.
Not two men only. Oh my god. We're going to hell.
Welcome.
We're going to hell.
I agree. You are going to hell.
I'll see you there.
Yeah. All right. So, all right. It comes down. I will say this: that this match came way closer than I think everybody gave credit for. It being, I mean, really, it came down to the 5-point question. If JTE misses that, like, he loses. And then let's play this scenario. What if? This is one of my favorite things to do on this podcast. Is what's the scenario happens if JTE loses? Who do we think that his teammate gets picked? Or who's the teammate that?
Keen to action. Is that
no,
you?
Oh, that's weird.
No, I
and there was like.
I don't know what my girl did.
For those who can't see the chat that happens in these videos.
We're being stupid because we are
surprised.
Weird shit.
Just being terrible as always.
Oh God.
Back to the question at hand. I think that if JTE lost, it would probably just be him and Stacey Howard. Because I think it's good. I think it'd be like a good motivation to go to corruption. Because I think the whole idea of the faction is like betrayal in one sense or another. So it could be that, or it could go to the family and be Burnette's partner.
That would be interesting.
I wouldn't be surprised if Christian is one of the matches where Christian was just like, you know what, go ahead, win JTE.
Yeah,
and I know he's been like more hesitant about that since
Guy
Dan Murrow lost at Collision, Andrew Guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but I wouldn't be surprised if it was just like hey, let's just get a better partner.
We're gonna say there's a stipulation, but in reality, he's like, I don't have this planned out. Like, I don't expect John to win this match, which is,
but if we were gonna spend some real time on it, what if he had won that match?
All right, so if he wins, I mean, Stacey Howard makes sense, but let's say Stacey Howard's partner's pick for her and all of that, and let's say it's all everything.
You know what? It's really. I mean, we can. I'm kind of feel bad. I shouldn't have introduced the thought process, because it's like completely moot point. It's, but on that note specifically, who do you think is going to be, you know what? We can actually cut this question out to one of the matches later on. I think about it, Dylan.
Yeah, you're right. This is for another episode. We'll save that question for later. But any other thoughts or things on that with JTE versus John?
Not
Don't,
really.
Okay, tell me who
I'm
SCTUB is.
I'm good. I'm good.
What does that mean?
JTE
I don't
got
know.
Action Adventure, which I think was a pretty like. It was good for him that he got. I think he only got like. Actually, I have the actual number here.
Wow.
I think he got
This is so
probably
intelligent.
like six points.
You're totally not in 7th grade.
Look at our high budget, everybody. Welcome to the Call Me Extra podcast. Please sponsor our Patreon. Our poor man James is keeping
Patreon.
If it's okay, Alex, none of the viewers will see what we're typing, so all record of us being fucking idiots will be lost.
They'll never see.
Dun, dun. We're so smart, guys. We are.
Yeah.
So smart.
So, I don't think anything really important here came to the second round. Again, Harris got Pixar.
Yeah.
She got 8 points. How fucking easy it was. But whatever, he didn't. JTE got Action Adventure. I think he did pretty good. I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
And third round, JTE is the 2-pointer. Harris misses his 3 and his 5. Woohoo!
Here we
JTE
are.
won.
Mhm.
Surprise.
And it seems a little backwards for him to be an asshole to John because he's his manager. Like, I don't think you're supposed to do that.
He was also like what, 8 and 9?
Yeah, JT's record just now balanced out to even again.
He's like, he's like that. He was at after that match, he was like at a 9 and 9.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. You know what? Let me double check that. I have it right here.
Yeah, it's even that. It's 9 and 9. I'm with you on that.
It is 9 and 9.
Now at a 9 and 9 with one KO.
Right.
That's about the same record as Josh McCouga, which feels strange that they're on even terms, like even like such a higher held player.
Right. When you see how much more JT's accomplished with his record, but that's just Modown, baby.
But also, Andreyko is at a 6 and 6.
Mm-hmm. And Draco's not. I mean, Ben Bateman's at what, 4 and 4 now?
I think so. Yeah.
He's at a 4 and 4.
Well, let's be honest. He's basically 3 and 4 because his first match was against the fuck is his name?
Dale the Dude.
Dale the Dude. Yeah.
Dale the Dude.
Man, I miss
brother.
Dale the Dude.
That fucking guy.
I don't.
Nope. You know what? I've said this in a separate chat, and I'm going to go on a rant for this right now, taking over this whole episode. Dale, dude, if you are watching this, I've got beef. You're a Southern dude who isn't from the South. I'm barely from the South, but I'm here from Kentucky. Fucking drink your goddamn Maker's Mark. You get that fucking bourbon, and you sit here and you be a real redneck. You trashy piece of shit. You don't get to be trashy and not to be Southern. You got to be both. Fuck that. Not real character.
What?
I got beef.
We already have one hater here with Melissa. We don't need a second one. I'm just here like, you know what? Fuck Dale the Dude. Ben Howard, you're a nice guy. Come on, we need some more.
Another
Let's
level
go. Yeah.
that lived in South Dakota. You fucking suck.
Anyway.
Man, we had some real trashy fucks up there.
Oh.
That did exactly like that. That looked like exactly like that.
I'm just saying.
But not Southern. Son of a bitch.
Yeah. Next match. What are we talking about, guys?
You're right. Star Wars 5-way.
Before we move on.
What?
Yeah. What? 5-way.
Yeah, Star Wars 5-way. There was like several really awesome competitors.
Wait, before we move on, there's one point we need to talk about.
Okay.
In the pre-match for Harris and JTE, Bateman and John Roca having a little bit of a discussion, a little bit of verbal exchange. What do y'all think is going to go on?
Oh yeah. I forgot about the sunglasses incident. My favorite video so far, where Ben comes up, has sunglasses on, takes them off. Roca says, "You can't even take my sunglasses off when you talk to me." His sunglasses are back on, and then he repeats them off again. So, all right. So this clip right here, I actually really, really hate it. I ain't gonna lie to you, because it just feels very forced. At this point, no matter what way Ben goes, win or lose, it feels like that he's slowly gravitating to be a horseman, and that's fucking awful. No, I think if you're gonna do storyline, if you're gonna make Ben a horseman, then make it so all right. If he wins, he's a horseman, or if he keeps on losing, the horseman take him because it's just a bunch of old losers in a group. But don't sit here and it feels forced at that one on that scene. You know, is that just me?
Bateman can suck a dick. I hate Bateman.
Bateman's the one. This episode I'm actually gonna put.
Wait, you want to say that?
You're right. You're
I'm
right.
gonna say that.
We can dedicate entire musical dedication to our hatred of Bateman, the traitor. But yeah, I thought, I felt like it's kind of inevitable at this point that he's going to become a horseman. However, I feel like that would be a little predictable. It would be a bit too obvious. I don't know. I kind of want something different. I really want something for Bateman, just a bigger storyline for him, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think at this point, and this is going to be daring to say, but I think he's bigger than the Horseman storyline that they're giving him now at this point.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, like, sure, we can give him so much shit for being a fucking traitor, and he is. And he's lost, and he lost recently, and we're actually going to go into that in our next episode. But he's lost his last several matches, singles, and and I know they're investing a lot of time into his storyline in particular. However, he's just always so close, and it's frustrating. And it's like he just hasn't won in the last several matches. I mean, please correct me if I'm wrong, but in the past, several matches, I can't remember him winning at all.
At every his record at live events is 0 and like 2 or 3 right now, right?
He lost all 3.
He did the one in LA against Direwolves. He did this one, and then technically lost in the free for all. But I think everyone loses. Basically.
All right. Yeah, so free for all. Yeah, I think the performance was bad. But so here's the thing that I kind of want to touch on, and I say this with a heavy heart because all traitor and character aside, we had a really good time with Ben at the live event. We'll go into that more at the live event episode. But all kayfabe aside, I will say this is that Ben's character and storyline, as great as it is, and I think that it's so magnetic and that team action as a whole is such a big kayfabe, like just dream come true. But I do have to wonder if they keep pushing the storyline, it's going to feel forced. Even when Ben's losing, it does feel like his storyline keeps going forward, and that's not fair to the other competitors.
Exactly. That's what I'm really concerned about is that, like you mentioned, it's not giving enough time to competitors that are winning. But let's face it, Bateman is also, he is very vocal about his involvement, and him and Guy are very vocal about their involvement in the Schmodown. They're like, hey, we want to be there for filming the extra scenes. We want to be there, not only for all these, doing all these matches, but doing the live events and assisting behind the scenes and being involved on the Patreon and everything. And, and I feel like them giving him this kind of storyline is to make up for that. However, if he does continue losing, this whole thing is going to go nowhere, unfortunately.
It's going to be a bad look. Right. And I think that kind of comes to my point is that if the conclusion of the story is if Ben just keeps losing matches and then they let him be, they make him be a horseman anyway. I don't know.
Hypothetically, and I love Guy. Guy is my man. Team Guy all the way. I dressed up as Guy. It was a magical day. But
yeah, hey, Dylan, who did you dress up as?
I dressed up as Ben the Boss Bateman pre face turn. I was Ben Bateman during his team action run.
I tackled him. It was a magical moment, James.
Yes, true. Okay. Security came.
There was a broken.
What the fuck? That's some crime advertising right there.
You'll never have any video or picture proof that I was ever dressed as Ben the Boss Bateman, James. That's never gonna happen.
I have picture proof. I can pull it up right now.
That's not true.
Can you pull out some of these pictures, James?
Oh yeah, let's do it. Oh okay.
Yeah. I have.
It's not me, guys.
God,
You're right.
Proud of my kid.
I don't know who that fat man is, but that's not me. And hey, that's Alex.
Oh my gosh, who is that?
That's right. Here's you again, but with some other people who I don't know.
Oh, there's my wife with what looks to be a very handsome man, but I don't know who that.
Might be an affair at that point. Who knows?
I'm gonna have to ask her about that. That's a fact.
Woof.
Oof.
Woof.
Meow.
Yeah. But yeah, it was really great. When we met Bateman, he was a really great guy. He gave us the coins. There you go. Yeah. He gave us
Alex, spoilers. Wait, what is that picture? What is that picture right there? Hold on.
Yeah, what the fuck is that?
Wait, that's me. How did you get that picture of me? How'd you get this everyday picture of me?
It's in the group chat, man.
Weird.
Yeah.
Considering I'm looking at a screen within a screen within a screen, that legit looks like Ethan Irwin.
Bateman.
You guys, I've been saying for a long Trader. Hold on.
Did you like it? Yeah. I was
really
very proud. Guy was proud. Guy approved. He mentioned on his podcast. So I was like, you know.
All right, guys, we're blowing our load on the episode that's not relevant to it. We got a whole live stream stuff. We'll talk more on the live stream on that episode.
You're right. You're right.
You've got plenty of teaser to make sure we're watching the second episode of this. But let's not leave off the great content for this one. Oh, we're so excited. But let's finish up on this one.
What's the talk about that one? The longer you get me.
So, oh boy. All right.
So we're getting a lot of Star Wars action here.
Mm-hmm.
The 5-way, just kind of tap on that. There is 5 ways, 5 really great competitors. There is, let's say, Alex Damon obviously wasn't there. There was Joseph Scrimshaw. There was Molly Damon. There was the Patreon member that Christoph
Andrew DeMolada.
Approval. Yes. I can't remember his name. What was his name? The Patreon dude?
Andrew DeMolada.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. He was excellent too.
He did fantastic. He really did.
Oh.
There was also another female player, Lauren something.
Lauren Kelly.
Lauren Kelly.
There you go.
Who also did really honest, like I would say everybody other than Andy Blanchard, and that's not against Andy Blanchard. I think everybody else was just doing so good. Andy Blanchard did pretty well, but Lauren Kelly, Andrew DeMolanta, and then Molly Damon. Yeah, whatever. The Patreon. Yeah. Excellent job.
No offense to Andy. He would have kicked my ass, but
no. Destroys me.
Yeah.
Every one of those does destroy me. Even Andy Blanchard, who didn't do that well, fucking crushes me in that. Like trivia.
Those matches in particular, I mean, it's kind of bonkers that because there's only like how many movies total? There's
9
episodes.
10 movies.
Yeah, and there's 10 movies.
Yeah.
And because there's 10 movies, they really had to pull
out these 11.
11. Yeah. These
3, 6, 9. Oh yeah, there's 11. Yeah.
Well, you know, it's because you have the Clone Wars like CG animated one.
Right.
Yeah. There was one of them where it was like one of the movie producers like he acts in this scene and from what movie?
Oh yeah, it's a movie producer. He has a cameo from what movie? Like,
I have no fucking clue.
Yeah.
Like, how do they know this? I understand they're studying and they've seen these movies like a million and bazillion times.
Yes, James.
It's like you gotta again, not so, but it's like what director super fan, and suddenly that narrows it down to like 2 people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's like super fan. Again, my brain immediately goes to Kevin Smith, who does that. I played decently well. I got like 4 points in the first round. So.
Oh, double point.
Oh, I like how you're trying to sit pretty with your 4 points in your Star Wars T-shirt.
Yeah. Double point is that technically it is 11 films, including the Christmas special.
Do they count that?
Okay, but they don't do the Christmas special. It has to be shown in the theaters. Because you have the 8 current ones. You have Solo. You have Rogue One, and then you have the animated Clone Wars one that was shown in theaters for a very limited time.
But when was it shown in theaters?
It was shown right when it came out,
when it came out,
early mid 2000s.
So like 2000. Yeah.
Yeah. Mid 2000s.
Outside of that, Christmas special, both Ewok movies, and any of the TV shows are off limits. Although they do ask about, I think like one of the questions was like, what ship from the Star Wars Rebels TV series can you see in like Rogue One or something?
Right. Like it obviously crosses over. It's I know, but it's one of those things where that's the level of Star Wars now, though. Like you literally have to know all of it just to even know the cameos and the featurettes and the crossovers into the like.
You want to hear something funny?
What's up?
Okay, so if you watch closely at some of the scenes in the prequels, you can see my fiance's uncle-in-law in the background.
Is he like an extra in it, or is it?
No, he actually he worked in production.
Mm-hmm.
He does he did something for or something with the backgrounds and like melding together backgrounds like for a lot of CGI based movies. He like worked on he was like seen in the behind the scenes stuff for Pirates of the Caribbean and stuff like that. He worked on all the prequels, but there's like a handful of scenes where they needed a handful of people to just as stand-ins like after the production and everything, just because they needed to make the background like meld together correctly where it was layered well. And so they just like called in a bunch of the programmers and to put on the costumes. And it's so funny because till this day he has like a close-up picture of him in costume like standing as a guard. It was the scene where like Padme, they're getting the running through the castle or something in one of
the and like probably episode 1 or 2, or probably probably 2.
Yeah.
So they rented the castle episode 1. They're
so
playing
weird.
a level in Lego Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great game. You also play it.
So weird.
But anyways,
so the 5
back to the match.
Yes.
God,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Do you guys
going
care?
on tangents? I keep going on tangents.
You're all right.
You
It's
know
all right.
trigger
We have
word.
nothing
Tell
to
me.
What? What?
Oh, I just said if I go on like crazy long tangents, give me a trigger word and just tell me. I'll write that up.
I think your trigger word is cats.
Okay, official. Because I wrote sleeping in the corners is good timing.
So I gotta say it really loud, that way they can hear me.
Oh, perfect.
And I can wake them up. I'm involved in recording. Yeah, but again, since no one gives a shit about Star Wars, Joseph Scrimshaw won on his 5-pointer. That was a really tight match. Good for you, Scrimshaw. But whatever. But the triple threat. Now that's fun.
Oh, and we're into the triple threat. Smooth like butter transition.
Do you know why it's a fun match?
Tell me.
Because it's a 3-way.
The fuck? No.
Ethan Irwin, damn it.
Ethan Irwin is my spirit animal in this show. I used to say for a long time it was
been these 3-ways in Brazil and London.
Jace, no, that's not the kind of
no.
No, listen, whatever. I'm gonna have fun with this one too.
Oh.
I love Ethan.
I was gonna say we had more Brendan Meyer, but fine, fuck you guys. We're gonna ruin it. Okay.
All right. So on to the triple threat.
Okay, Bibbs, Ethan Irwin, Roca. Holy shit. You know what was kind of weird to me walking into this match?
Got TKO'd like a little bit.
I watched only 3 times because it was like such a stellar match. Bibbs, he walked out first, and I was like, holy shit, is he the underdog in this story? Bibbs? How is he the underdog? If anything, because
people always fucking underestimate him.
Roca, if anything, he was gonna get in 3rd. And he did.
And he did.
He had to be on like 1st or 2nd.
Roca was pretty far back in last place this match.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
However, if you look at how much how much they're playing around, with each other and like really getting up those rankings, there was no way Roca was going to be the number 3 seed.
Nope.
Plus, he used to be a champ, a two-time champ. So you can't really ignore that. Whereas Bibbiani only got it once.
Remind me again. Did he win the triple threat against Mark or Riley and Merle? Right? Who won that?
No. I believe Riley was KO'd at his 3-pointer.
Yeah,
and then Roca took Merle to the final question.
Yeah, and then Merle won.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then Roca lost again.
Yep. Roca can hang on to the belt more than a match. He wins the belt and then he loses immediately upon defending the belt.
Yeah, I mean, he never gets to defend the belt. He gets it, and then he loses it, and then he doesn't get it back, and then like a year later he gets it back because
maybe.
I don't know. He wins through it again. I don't know. But
it's impressive he keeps coming back. I mean, it really is. He's always like similarly to Bateman, how he's like constantly involved. His enthusiasm is always on point. But at the same time, And he does always do very well, but at the same time, it's crazy just to compare him to, say, Bibbs, for example. Roca is like one of the OGs of this whole thing. And then Bibbs is now in first place. I mean, apart from the singles champion Dan Murrell,
Right.
Obviously, and then Erwin is now in second place, and then John is in fourth place.
I mean,
I love him.
Listen, beating Ethan in itself is already just this massive feat at this point. And I would say, honestly, match aside, the most impressive.
Second year.
Right.
Nuts.
This is Bibbs' year, but let's not take away from Roca in this match. Like all humor aside, I will say that I think the most impressed with this match is not only the performances, because we expect that much. These are three huge players in this league, but how humble I think Roca was in his loss. Because honestly, we've seen Roca go in there and it's just, I'm going to milk this retirement. This is going to be the last one. We actually didn't get that. He was just like, you know what? Fuck it, man. They're really good.
Why not? Why not? Why can't he fucking retire?
Welcome to the Roca Needs to Retire podcast. I'm your host.
I mean, is that his I know he had mentioned casually that he's going to retire, but I mean, that wasn't his last singles match.
No, God, no.
Yeah.
He's mentioned he's going to.
His original statement. His original statement was on the Top 10 show a while ago, was that he wanted blood. He wanted revenge on Ethan Erwin. He was going to beat whoever it was that he beat, Andrejko, I think it was.
Yeah.
And then after he beats him, he's going to face Erwin. And if he loses to Erwin, he will retire from singles, if not the whole league. And he didn't. I think he probably won't be involved until the singles tournament, but that's not retiring. He keeps having these empty threads of, I'm going to retire. Then fucking do it. Right. And again, I was listening to the rundown today. Roca is just, unfortunately, a competitor who is not aging out. But the new blood is sort of just pushing him aside.
Right.
Again, look at Ethan Erwin. He got a belt in his first season. Yeah. And on top of that, looking at the players who are still coming up, the David Del Rios and the primetime Paulo Yamas, these are people who have a lot of potential and they can come through. Or people like Andrew Guy, who very well could have TKO'd John Roca as well had he not spun his strength. Roca is unfortunately just caught in the past, hence the nickname. I'm just hoping that come Houston, we will get an update on whether or not John Roca will continue to compete in singles. Because Riley's taking on Snyder, as y'all will get into later. Mm-hmm. And then after that, we have another path to the title with one of them. Probably Riley, because Snyder gives up like a little bitch when he gets in trouble.
I don't know. Snyder... I'm not going to spoil into anything or anything like that, but Snyder, I mean, just looking on his past history run, he's not a sleeper in singles. He's never actually gotten into contention for the belt. But
he's also lost to JTE. So he's already on paper the worst competitor. They're probably going to face off again in the little climb to the title now that JTE has another win and is back in the league. And Draco needs another shot. Ben needs another shot. Janine's making her way up. Roca's getting pushed to the back. And unfortunately, I think Snyder, you can get in his head.
And
that's probably against Bibbiani.
Janine, I'm not going to lie. I mean, Janine is very talented and everything, but I think she... against Stacy, I think that I don't want to say that was pure luck, but I don't think she would have won against anyone else. Maybe someone Liz Shannon or something, but I don't think she could have won against Lon Harris even though he's ranked below her. I think she could have. I mean, I think she would have lost against Ron Harris.
I think that's. I don't know. I mean, she's shown close enough that she's. I mean, the Schmoden itself shows itself.
If she hits rom-coms, totally, absolutely unbeatable. But if she hits biopics, westerns, classics, anything else, she's she usually gets just to 2 questions, unfortunately.
I think right now Janine's moving to the space where Stacey Howard used to be, where I think now she's becoming one of the more underrated players. Because
you know what? I don't want her to be an underrated player. I want her to actually succeed and kick ass. So,
she played the game of her life against Chance, and she still lost, which I know doesn't sound great, but she did really well. I think she got close to 20 points that match.
She was one. Really I mean, yeah, she's that question off of winning.
Absolutely. But when she's good, she's great. But she's always like barely losing. But it's that she's losing, unfortunately.
I think we're gonna see like again the best side of her when the time machine comes and starts competing.
I'd agree.
Because, like Jesus
I can't wait for her to kick ass part of the
yeah,
she is going to
destroy.
Yeah,
100%.
They're going to be scary. We'll get into the Teams League stuff in the next video as well with live event coverage and stuff like that. But the Teams League might be the most, like, looking at the competition. There is, I don't think that there's a league with as much severely good competition in it. Like, sure, singles, sure, Intergeekdom, and sure, like Star Wars, all their questions and stuff are so close, the competition level's high. But it is not only just quantity, it's not just quality, it is just the quantity. Like, there's every other team is like, I could see them being a champion.
And let's even ignore the fact that we have some amazing players who aren't on teams yet. I mentioned before Paul Oyama and Brendan Meyer. Stacey's still looking for a partner. Burnett, who was part of a very dominant team, isn't here anymore. Jason Inman and Scott Mance, who used to be together, took the Patriots to the last question and didn't do anything. Modoc, again, also there, also lacking a team. And then we see the up-and-comers of Inky and the Brain, who are trying to study. The Family, who are very dangerous. Evil Geniuses are not so I don't know. The Teams League is fucking scary. On top of that, I mentioned before, like the last time I was on, the Shire Wolves won a title match in their second worst played match. This is fucking scary.
Right.
I can't wait. It's going to be fantastic.
No, I don't.
feel like Teams also is like a lot less like random because you have two players who have the possibility of getting strengths. Mm-hmm. And I think Harloff is playing more into this idea of creating super teams now. So there's less likely of like a shared weakness or something that's going to stump everybody. Like I think this is probably the strongest the league has been in a while. I don't want to say ever because I do still feel like there's like we just have a singles. Mm-hmm. There's like a group of competitors who like here's who can win a title, and here's who can help them win a title. And there's still that very big divide. I think that we're almost to the point where the entire league, all of the active teams have a chance of getting an upset, at least in something.
Right.
100%. It's going to be crazy. But the Family and the Time Machine, they're part of my fantasy roster. So I am psyched because I've been just sitting on this team, losing points, just waiting for them. So I'm like, any minute now.
But anyhow, I have Wild Berries and Evil Geniuses, so I'm getting jack shit.
Well, Evil Geniuses are coming up here in a bit.
Yeah,
they have a match in like 3 weeks.
They have a match in this Friday.
They have a match in 4 days.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah, let's go.
Let me check right now because I remember
schedule is Evil Geniuses against Superhero News for Friday.
Why are you doing that?
Evil Geniuses, right?
Yep.
Yeah, they're going up against Superhero News, and it's happening on Friday.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I do want to get back to the match really briefly because I have my handy dandy little whiteboard here.
Yeah, we'd hate to erase that.
Yeah. First person spin was Irwin, who spun 90s. I believe he got a perfect 8.
Yeah.
Second person was Roka, who spun sports and got 7 or 8. I don't know.
5 or 6. Oh, yeah.
Either way, whatever.
He loses. We know that. Spoiler.
And then Bibbiani spun disaster movies, respin, opponent's choice, disaster movies, and a perfect fucking 8 points.
That was like out of nowhere. I mean, like, good for him.
Bibbiani. Repeat after me, guys.
Coming in hot.
Is Bibbiani's year. He is.
That was last year.
I'm not gonna lie. As much as I love him,
Bibbiani is the goat.
Chilling being who he is. I know like him as a heel didn't end up well a few years ago.
Terrible. It was really bad.
I really want a heel champion so bad.
I know.
Like,
anyone except the Patriots, because fuck them. But I am so in need for a heel champ. But I think like looking at Bibbiani, like right here is amazing. Because again, correct me if I'm wrong, because it's been fucking 2 weeks. Bibbiani got a perfect round 3, a perfect round 1, probably a perfect round 2. He could not have played a better game. All you can do to get a better score is steal points from your opponents. So, out of his control, Bibbiani played the best possible game of any competitor ever. He set a points record.
100% agree. It's bonkers. I don't know what Bibbs started. I mean, Bibbs started standing, and maybe that just pumps more blood into his brain or something. I have no idea, but that switched something up for him. The day he came back from that free-for-all last year, he hit the ground running. I don't know if he's training differently. I don't know if he's just watching more movies or whatever it might be. He's just knocking it out of the park. It's just crazy.
So here's a fun question for you all, because this is my role in this podcast, as I just come up with random questions to ask everybody. We're a heel podcast, but
what? No, never. Everyone equally. We love everybody.
What? We love everybody equally. This is fact.
Except Ben. Fuck Ben.
And Ben Damon.
Except Ben Damon and John Roca. Fuck those guys. But
it's fuck Roca.
Here's my question. Is Bibbiani actually the best face in the league?
Yes.
Ooh. I would not dispute that.
Are we saying best player or
no? I'm saying best face. Like, do we have a face that is better?
Let me look. I mean, like,
he is literally incapable of being mean to someone.
I mean, like, Dan Murrell. I mean, Dan Murrell's a face. I mean, and he's like one of the times.
But like, do we really care about Dan Murrell? Because I know I don't.
The Shire. Sure. Rachel Cushing's a face. That's a strong
also, on that note, why don't we care about Dan Murrell?
Because he's not like, okay, in his defense, I am liking him more now. The more he plays in the league and the more he's around the Horsemen, he's actually getting more of a personality. He's like jovial. He's fun. He's shooting quips.
Yeah, I would agree. I think Murrell's biggest weakness early on was that he just felt very cardboard on his personality. It wasn't into the kayfabe thing. And I think it's still less into that, but we're seeing more of him and it's just seeing more of his personality. You're like, okay, I like Murrell as a person. Because he's not really doing the character act. But Bibbs also, honestly, is doing the same thing. You're starting to see that Bibbs is like, I don't want to be a bad guy. I'm just this big teddy bear. Let me, like, love me. And it's kind of hard not to.
Okay. But there's a real difference between the two. Murrell, I mean, I feel bad. I still don't care. Like, I know, James, when you were out in LA for that free-for-all, you were like, the audience chanted, "You deserve this," right?
No. In New York,
that was New York's free-for-all.
Oh, sorry, New York. Yeah, thank you for correcting me. When he was in New York, that's what they chanted. I felt bad because I was like, I don't care.
Right?
I really don't. I feel bad. I was like, you know what? I felt more for Chance Ellison winning when he won just a regular match then. And I would feel, the thing is, if Ethan had won, I would have actually been like really excited. But when Murrell won, I was like, cool. But I mean, like, I don't know. Okay, maybe it's because he's just a chill dude. He's just not like mega involved in and all the stuff. But at the same time, you know, I've never really seen him really get confident on the mic, where even when behind the scenes stuff he's where he's involved with, he's never like really center of attention. You know, he doesn't really have any kind of real commanding or presence
either. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's just his. But I mean, that's just who he is. That's his personality, and that's fine. You know, so I mean, we just have to remember that.
Right. And I've said time and time again, like, this is a podcast especially spoiled because we are such action fans, and that is the crux of the kayfabe and characters with it. But I always think it's a fun conversation to sit here and say who's really the best. Honestly, between Bibbs and Cushing, I would argue are the two biggest faces, like the best faces in the league. Murrell's a face, but he's not really a character. Murrell's Murrell.
I think just it's like I would argue semantics, because arguing like who's the best player probably would be Rachel. I think the best as a face is Bibbiani. He is incapable of insulting someone.
Mhm.
Like, look at this post-match interview. After he wins, he turns to Jen Sturger, and she's like, "Hey, do you want to like give a message to Dan Morrow?" And he's like, "We're gonna have a good match. You're a good player. I hope I win, but if I don't, it's fine. Good luck." Like he can't be mean. And I love him for that.
Even when he was like when they were up against the Sharewolves, he's just like, "I'm such a fan. You guys are the greatest." And I was like, "Aw."
Yeah.
And he always just seems like so genuine. Like when Rachel Cushing, she was on she was invited on to the critically acclaimed podcast that Whitney Seibold and and Bibbs obviously host, and his first question is like, "Oh, so how do we do?" So, what'd you guys think of our playing? And Rachel's just like, "Yeah, you guys did good, blah, blah, blah." And he's like, "Really? Is that what you really think? You don't think we could have improved in any way? Can you give us any pointers?" And I was like, "Oh, this is so sweet."
He's there to have fun and make friends.
I love
for that.
And he's very vocal about how this is like genuinely his hobby. Like sure, this it's something he just does for fun. Whereas, like, for some of the competitors, sure, it's for fun, but it's also in some way a job.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Look at, like, Ben Bateman or Andrew Guy or Mike Kalinowski, who just spent hours and hours studying. Like, for them, this is true dedication, because to them, winning a belt means something.
Right.
For Bibbiani, she's like, "I'm just good. I watch stuff when I can, and I'm here to..."
Like, when Kalinowski loses, my heart hurts. I'm not going to lie. It feels so real to me.
Mhm.
Like when he lost against Rachel, I was like, sure, yeah, Rachel absolutely won, no brainer. But I was like, oh.
But also, like you see the stuff this year after the match. Like, I think Mike had like a 4-paragraph thing of just like, here's how the day went. Me and Rachel were just really bad because we were being like just mean to each other. We hadn't talked, and after the match, they just hugged and cried. Like, this is intense for them. Bibbiani, I think Bibbiani was depressed after losing the belt. I don't remember. In general, he's just like, if I win, great. If I lose, great.
Right.
I get to do what I love. Awesome. And just, he's a sweetheart, and I love him.
I
you
think
know what? If you love him so much, get off this podcast.
Okay.
This is the wrong podcast. Welcome to
you traitor. You traitor.
Fucking traitor. So anyway, Alex,
damn.
This is
I can't believe him. Oh God, who is this idiot just joined us? Damn it!
This idiot got 4 points in the Star Wars free-for-all. Excuse yourself.
Oof. 4 points, guys. No, I'm just playing. 4 points is impressive.
I got more points than you would in Inner Geekdom.
Bring it on, James. Inner Geekdom match.
You know what? Okay. You know what? For shits and giggles, I want to host a live match between us. Not like the whole big one that we want to do. I want to do one just between a handful of us.
I'm in.
Go ahead. I'll kick y'all's ass.
Now with time it would be a hoot and a half. It doesn't have to be like a whole scheduled thing. But on that note, I do have an entire Excel spreadsheet just on hand casually. So just saying.
And maybe a hoot and a half for you. For me, it's like 16, 17 hoots because I can actually get points.
All right.
Sorry.
All right. Question on this though.
Mm-hmm.
So as we start teasing soon to be upcoming videos and bigger videos, is this just like general trivia, like singles league trivia? Or are we looking at Inner Geekdom, or what are we looking at?
You know what? It depends on what you guys want to do. I hosted matches between like a handful, like once a month. We rotate. We do matches in my fantasy league, where it's just between the group of us, and this is pretty much what we do. It's like via Skype or Google Hangouts, and it's a hoot. Last month I hosted because we rotate every month, whoever hosts, and everyone chose 2 categories they wanted to use.
Mm-hmm.
A favorite category. In our case we had 4. In my group we had 4 players though. So.
Okay.
Just saying. If anyone wants to come in.
All right. Well, we'll start settling scores here soon, but let's go ahead and start to wrap up this episode.
Okay, everyone. If you viewer wants to watch a a match between us where I win, feel free to write it below.
Oh,
or
suck it, James. You
follow
suck.
us on Twitter. Or anywhere you want.
That's
Just
so
say,
cute.
I would like to watch
You know
James
what? I'm gonna
win.
make it so dangerous for you. I'm gonna make it so fucking difficult for you. I'm gonna make it put such deep pulls. You're gonna regret this. Just give me a heads up.
Remember, just ask about Scott Pilgrim.
As the host, as the announcer, making these questions, I'm gonna make it.
Bingo Wallflower, Point Break, the original, and not the remake. Citizen Kane, greatest film of all time.
When I win on a Super Troopers question, you guys will be embarrassed. You will be embarrassed. And I will.
Legend of the Guardians, The Owls of Ga'Hoole, the second greatest film of all time, and Zack Snyder's greatest to a T.
Oh God.
Guardians of Ga'Hoole is a fantastic movie.
And
you all know it.
If you guys want to do like an exhibition match or something like that specifically on like say comic book movies or something like that, that's fine. But y'all need to.
But then I need to watch Daredevil.
Yeah, because you really like.
I've seen worse.
The worst.
I have seen worse. I've seen Titanic, which is garbage. Fact. And on that note, let's wrap up today's episode. All right. Okay. Share your socials. Where can people find you, losers?
Alex, you go ahead.
I'm on Instagram at Mac_Midori, and we are also on Twitter at the Call to Action Podcast. Please check us out there. But other than that, please don't find me anywhere else. Please.
You can catch me on Twitter at mostly the Call to Action Podcast stuff. Honestly, I don't tweet that much. You can go on CAMACH Octopus. You can see me post
Twitter one. So
yeah. That's Twitter. I think that might be my Instagram one too. I don't know. It's none of your fucking business. Find me on the Facebook group. Call me out. I'm ready for you. I'm sitting there all over the movie trivia groups. Action Army, plugged. Action Industries, plugged. Go to those Facebook groups. Go to those Twitter groups. Go to those Instagram groups. Go to the Movie Trivia Schmodown. Be a Patreon today because that shit is fire, and that's why we're here, everybody. James, hit us with the other plugs.
Just taking all my plugs. All right, fine. You can find me on Twitter at Temecula Film Guy. That is at TEMECULA Film Guy.
Loser.
Don't forget to follow Ben Bateman and Andrew Guy on Instagram. That's at the Bateman Video and at Andrew Guy. In both sides.
Everything's listed below, by the way.
People, remember to take this photo when I win the belt. Thank you.
This is the photo of the champion right here.
That's what I say to you.
And don't forget to also sign up for the Team Action Show Patreon, where you can watch many wonderful things, like Andrew slapping the shit out of Ben Bateman.
Oh my God, it was amazing. I watched that.
I do not know all the other socials because I'm being distracted by losers. So remember to just check the description below for anything I missed for other co-host things, anything really. Again, be sure to check back really soon. We'll probably have another episode up about the Chicago live show, unless we're lazy fucks and forget again. See you guys on the flip side.
Bye.
Bye.